Hi everyone, today I'm going to review this iSinwheel S9 Max electric scooter. So I bought this scooter myself with my own money. I tried to reach out to iSinwheel, but they refused to send me a review copy. So again, this is I use my own money. So this is going to be a unbiased review, a very honest review. So anyway, let's get started. The reason I bought this myself is because of its price. It's very cheap. And on paper, the spec is very impressive. That's why I'm very curious to see whether it lives up to what is advertised. So the price of this scooter is retail for around $500. However, it always has discount. And under discount, this scooter only costs $399. So under $400. This is definitely a budget scooter. It's actually very, very cheap, even in terms of budget scooter. Anything less than $600, I consider it to be budget. So very cheap. And the spec is very impressive for its price. The spec on paper is even better than some of the mid-range scooter, let's say the Hiboy, for example, better than some $700 scooter. So I have to check this out to see whether it's true or not. So first of all, let's see the basic specification here. There's actually a sticker over here, as you can see, S9 Max. It has a 10 mAh battery, charge time 7 to 8 hours, top speed 21 miles per hour or 35 kilometers per hour, max loading 264 pounds or 120 kilos. Net weight is only 32.2 pounds or 14 kilograms. So extremely lightweight. Manufacturing year is 2022. So this one, iSinwheel, not very well-known brand. And I think it's the same company as iScooter because they both offer almost exactly the same scooter for iScooter, but I don't know. But anyway, not a well-known brand, but it only costs $399 for this S9 Max. They also offer the regular S9 and the S9 Pro. They are even cheaper, it's around $300. So it's very tempting. And this one, it has the, again, advertised range is around 22 miles. I will talk about the top speed and range in terms of real world performance. And then the, first of all, dimension is very, very small compared to my other scooters. It looks like a kid scooter in some way. So the length is around 46 or 47 inches and the height is 45 or 46 inches. So very short. If you're a tall person, it's not an ideal scooter for you because the stem is not adjustable. It doesn't have adjustable height. Very short. And then it's very light, of course, like I said, only 32 pounds. So extremely lightweight, even compared to my other one is like 45, 46 pounds, and the Hypo is like 39 pounds. So this is night and day. Very, very light, not even close. And this is the top of the line. You know, this is the Max. The regular one, the S9, I think is around 28 pounds, or even lighter. So if you like something very light, this might be a good choice for you. Especially it's very cheap, only $399. And then of course I got the seat. The seat costs around $50. If you buy this separately on the website, I think it's like $70, something like that. But if you bought it with this scooter, it's only $50 extra. So it's around $450 if you buy the seat with the scooter. But the scooter itself is $399, so very cheap. And then it has supposed to have 10-inch solid tires as advertised. However, I measured it myself. This is actually a 9-inch tire, not 10-inch, not even close to 9.5, is 9 inches. So I don't know why they have to force advertise the tire size. I mean, the other one, those are 10 inches or at least 9.5. This is 9-inch, but they claim it's 10-inch, which is not. So, and it's a honeycomb style. It has the holes in it. I mean, it doesn't go through, but close enough. My other ones doesn't even have the honeycomb style. The Hiboy is slightly honeycomb, but it's fake honeycomb. It has a, in terms of the width of the tire is very, very narrow as well. So everything feels tiny. The width is around 2 inches, actually slightly less than 2, so around 1.9 inches. So it feels like a kid's scooter or a toy. Because my other one, they are much wider. The Hiboy is 2.2 inches, the Evercross is 3 inches, the Yadea is 2.4 inches. So this one is very, very narrow. So I would say not too stable in terms of riding this, especially in cornering because of the narrow tires. And then it has front motor, front wheel drive. It's rated at 500 watts. However, I don't think it's 500 watts, not even close actually. I'll talk about that in a moment. And then it has the green accent everywhere, so pretty nice. I don't recall any scooter with all the green accents. And then the charging port is right over here. And then it has full suspension, front and rear suspension, which is very rare. I mean, even a lot of mid-range scooter doesn't have full suspension. And then it has front electronic braking and rear disc brake. As you can see here, it's very small disc brake. It's around 4 inches in diameter, but still it's pretty impressive for this price. And then the seat also has a suspension in it. Actually, I like the seat a lot. It's actually the best seat among all my scooter, interestingly, even though this one is the cheapest one. This is the attachment over here. It's kind of weird, but I think this seat might actually fit on the Hiboy. I think so, because I might try it later, because this seat is much better than the one on the Hiboy. The Hiboy doesn't have any suspension on it, so I have to check it out. The deck width is very narrow as well. It's around 5.5 inches. Even narrower than the Hiboy. The Hiboy is already narrow at 6 inches. This is even narrower. I don't think any scooter will be more narrow than this. So everything feels small in this scooter, and the stem also is very narrow, very thin, even thinner than the Hiboy one. So everything feels like kid scooter. And then the handlebar, again, very narrow, is around 17 inches in width. The Hiboy is around 19. So pretty narrow, and the screen just a regular budget scooter screen. If you press once, it will turn it on. It has the thumb throttle, which I like, and then it has the electronic brake over here, and also a regular brake lever. It has 2 brake lever in this case. This brake lever will control both the rear disc brake and the front electronic brake, and this red thing only controls the electronic braking, which is pretty weak. You don't want to use this all the time. Most of the time you're going to use this one, especially in emergency situation. This one, the electronic brake is very, very weak. It's not gonna slow you down a lot, so just a disclaimer. And then it has this one is the folding mechanism over here. This thing will be connected to the hook over here, although I prefer the one on the Hiboy. I think most scooter, 90% of scooter use this kind of mechanism. And then this is the folding thing over here, is equivalent to the Hiboy. Very similar, very easy to use. There's a headlight over here which is mounted down at the bottom, which I'm not a big fan of. And if you turn the stem, the light doesn't turn with it, so kind of weird. It has some wire harness over here, so it's a good thing. And then so the grip over here for the handlebar is very nice. Actually, this is my favorite grip. Surprisingly, again, this is the cheapest scooter, but it's actually better than my other grips on my other scooter. It's comparable to the Hiboy, but I think I like this even better. And it has a bell, regular bike bell over here. The mirror is, of course, is aftermarket. It doesn't come with it. You have to buy it yourself. And then if you press the button once, it will turn on the headlight. As you can see, it's actually relatively bright. It's just down at the bottom and doesn't turn with the stem. It has a rear light as well, and if you press the brake lever, it will flash. So very nice, but there's no ambient lighting at all. But again, this is a budget scooter. And then the weight, again, very lightweight, 32 pounds. The weight capacity is 264 pounds, which is a lot for this kind of scooter. Because most scooter, even the mid-range one, is around 220. This is 264. I'm not sure about that because everything is so small in this scooter. The seat is, again, very comfortable. I like this a lot. And you can fold down the seat, and of course, then you can fold down the stem as well. You don't have to take the seat out. And then for the and then again, if you press this button twice, it will change the speed mode. So a green S means standard or comfort mode, And if we press it again 2 times, it will change to red S. Red S is sports mode. So in the regular S, the standard mode, it has a supposedly top speed of 15.5 miles per hour. And the red S sport mode is supposed to have a top speed of around 21.7 miles per hour. And I will talk about that in a little bit in terms of real world performance. And if you press it one more time, it will turn off the light. And if you press this 3 times, it will switch between imperial units or the metric units, which is, miles per hour or kilometers per hour. And if you hold this, it will turn it off. So let's talk about so the braking is very nice actually, but again, the electronic brake is very weak. The disc brake is fine. And then this is the kickstand over here, as you can see, regular kickstand. And then as you can see here, well, the battery is located under the deck, which is nice, not on the stem. However, the deck, as you can see, is not level, is slightly tilted in the front. I think that's because, that's an afterthought. They add the suspension to this. This is actually the second generation of the S9 Max, I believe. There's a previous generation. You can look it up yourself online. I think they just try to reuse the old frame. They use the same frame, but the old one doesn't have the front suspension. And I think this might be an afterthought. That's why when they insert the front suspension, it just raise the front a little bit and push the stem upward. That's why the deck is not level, is tilted to the front. As you can see, there's an incline to it. But none of my other scooter has this kind of incline. And again, this is because they add the front suspension as an afterthought. They didn't change anything else. They used the same frame. That's why the front is raised up. So just something to keep in mind is, there's an incline to it. And then let's talk about the range. Again, it has a 10 mAh battery. It is 36 volts at 10 mAh. So you can do the math. 36 times 10 is around 360 watt-hour battery. But I guess it's actually closer to 10.4 mAh. Usually that's the case, around 374 watt-hour. So it's a relatively big battery in this price range. It matches some of the mid-range scooter, and it has a advertised range of 22 miles. However, this is not the case. I would estimate the real world range is around maybe 15 to 16 miles, and again, is weight dependent. If you're heavy, then it will definitely reduce your range by a lot. I didn't do a full range test because, I just got this recently and I don't want to push this scooter around when the battery is completely dead. But I did a few rides, maybe around 10 miles, something like that. And I estimate around 15 miles. And if you're heavier, like 200 pounds, you will get less than 15, maybe like 10 or 12. Again, just my estimate. And then next thing is the top speed. This is the biggest thing. This is the reason why I bought this, because it's advertised top speed is 21 or 22 miles per hour, which is a lot. I mean, a lot of mid-range scooter doesn't even reach this speed. A lot of mid-range scooter like $700 or even $800, like the Ninebot Max, only has a top speed of around 18 to 19 miles per hour. So how can a $400 scooter has a higher top speed? And actually I tested out. It is again another false advertisement, just like the tire size. So I already checked everything, make sure I fully charge the battery, and I set it up correctly in the app itself. There's an app called Mini Robot, I think. So you can download that. There's some setting you can set. I make sure the top speed is set to 21 miles per hour. And I do this, I ride this, and again, I'm very lightweight. I weigh less than 130 pounds, so definitely not a weight issue. And I ride it on a completely smooth and flat surface, and the temperature is around 60 degrees, so 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So make sure everything is fine, and I only get a top speed of 18 miles per hour, which is very disappointing. I mean, for its price, it's okay, but at least, they false advertise it. If they advertise it as like 17 or 18 miles, then there will be no problem. But now they are doing all these false advertisement, and actually the very, very top speed is 18. Most of the time I don't even reach 18. Most of the time I reach 16 or 17 miles per hour on the flat surface. Again, on a bike lane, smooth surface. So not my issue, definitely. And I checked the app already, make sure it's set all the way to 21 miles per hour. And then sometimes I even reach like 16. And the hill climbing ability is terrible as well. That's why this is definitely not a 500 watt motor, even though they advertise it as 500 watts. I mean, the Hiboy and Yadea both advertise as 500 watts, but they are way more powerful than this one. This is equivalent to the Ninebot E series, like the E22 or E25 in terms of power. And then the hill climbing is terrible on a, I think it's rated at 15% gray or 15-degree gray, I forget, but on a regular, I mean, on a nearby hill, a steep hill, I can only reach 5 miles per hour on that uphill. So barely climbing up, and if you weigh more than 200 pounds, you probably couldn't even get up that hill. My Hiboy can get up that hill between 9 and 10 miles per hour, and the Yadea is like 12 miles per hour. Evercross is like 12, 13. This is only 5. So equivalent to the E22 and E25 on the Ninebot. So very, very disappointing for what it claims. Definitely not 500 watts. Cannot even reach, not even close to 21 miles per hour. It's only like 17, 16 most of the time. Hill climbing terrible. So something to keep in mind. Again, this is a very lightweight scooter. Everything feels small, just like a kid scooter, and a lot of false advertisement. So just keep that in mind. You get what you pay for. I mean, the price is still very good if you want a budget entry-level scooter, but just don't expect it to reach what it says on the spec, on the specification. It's not even close. I mean, that's my biggest complaint. I mean, other than that, I like the green accent. I like the lightweight. I like the seat, but that's about it. Everything else, it's not up to what it says. So a disclaimer, and I think I might contact iSinwheel to see, to see what they can do. Or maybe I did something wrong, but I already checked everything I did correctly. Worst case, I might even return this is because it's just not even close to what it claims. I mean, so far, none other online review have ever shown it reaches 21 or 22 on flat surfaces. So when I test it myself, and it confirms my suspicion. And even downhill, you can reach like 19 or 20, or maybe 21 max on a downhill, but that's not acceptable, because it's a steep downhill. Of course, you can reach like 21 or 22 miles per hour. So that's pretty much it. That's my full owner review of this scooter. Feel free to leave any question. And I forget to say, there's a metal bar reinforcement over here. However, it's only on the right side, not on the left side, which is kind of weird because my other scooter, it's on both sides. But this one only on the right side, but they're better than nothing. The fender is just plastic. You don't want to step on it. And again, the suspension is very stiff. It doesn't do much, but the suspension on seat is very nice. So that's pretty much it about this scooter. Again, it's still a good price, but just don't expect it to be the same as the specs. So anyway, thanks for watching and have a nice day.